My father was a minister and we lived several places around the country. The home that I thought of was my grandparents' fruit farm in southwestern Michigan. And so as a teenager, I had learned how to drive tractor there, and I was always comfortable and interested in equipment. And so as I was in mid-career, I sort of wanted to have a tractor, and once we bought a suburban home in North St. Paul, my wife actually encouraged me to go out and get a tractor. So sure enough, I had to find my way through several tractors before I found things that I wanted. But I wound up having a couple of old John Deere two-cylinder tractors, and then I had mentioned about my interest in LOVE tractors. I remembered my grandparents having one on their farm, and I also knew that my family had multiple connections to the Love tractor operations. And sure enough, a cousin of mine had two of them, so I bought both of them from him and added yet a different one from a guy who was in the used tractor business. And it was therapy for me while I was in the latter stages of my career. And it gave me a focus that was different, where the people at work wanted me to be involved in organizations that would help feed business into the investment management operation. I found that I resonated much more to the people I met at threshing shows and antique tractor shows, and so I have a framed copy of my membership in the Western Minnesota Steam Threshers Reunion, where most people would have framed their MBA degree or their Chartered Financial Analyst membership and things like that. I turned to tractors and threshing shows and things like that to keep my sanity in a world that was very strange there in the 1990s and as I was in the later stages of my career. As I retired, my need for therapy declined, and my participation in tractor shows actually declined once I had more time to be active in the hobby, and I just didn't need the therapy anymore, so I couldn't use the tractors. And I think the difference between me and some other collectors is that some other collectors, such as the person I sold all three of my Love tractors to, want their tractors to be museum quality with such a fine paint job that the maker of tractors wouldn't even recognize them with such a fine paint job on them and absolutely no flaws whatsoever. For me, I restored the tractors so that I could take them out and use them. My tractors had dents on them and paint had gotten crazed, and there were all kinds of evidence of them being useful tractors. And so part of my needing to get rid of them was that I was no longer taking them out and using them. They were simply sort of being stored. And when I took one of my tractors up to our place in Two Harbors that we bought last year to try to use it with my little garden tractor cart was pitiful. I mean, it was so inappropriate. And so why not just sell them all? And here I found a guy who already had perhaps 8 or 9 Love tractors, and my 3 tractors were different models than any of the tractors that he already had. So that it made sense for him to own the tractors, and he'll keep them in a nice museum, but that's life. I guess the only other thing that I could add, many people don't realize that there are probably 1,000 tractor shows and threshing bees around the country every year. So that it's a very active hobby, and it certainly makes stamp collecting look tame.